Well, hello everybody, welcome back to Robert's train set, and here we are up in the loft, and I've got a good bit in this video for you, and I'm not going to spend very much time talking about it. I'll do it as we look at it, but as you've seen from the title, it's about the couplings, a bit of shunting, and using the Z21 app with my iTrains and my DigiKeys DR5000. So hope you'll enjoy it. Comments always welcome. If this is the first time you've seen me, please subscribe, it does help, it is free, and a like. Please give us a like. I suffer from not many likes, so obviously I'm not making them properly, am I? But never mind. Anyway, let's get on with the rest of this video. Cheers everybody. Cheers. So if you watched my last video, it was fitting these Dapol signals, wasn't it? And if you remember, I had two bigger signals to fit. So here's the first one, and if I pan back a bit, you'll see that it's actually coming out from all the sidings, and sitting in the unloading bay there is my little low-free shunter. Now this will be doing something later on in the shunting session, but I thought this would be very good to demonstrate how this works. So let's start her up. Let's set the O3 doing its route. We'll see what happens. So the way I've done this is I've added one of those, the same signal to each one of these tracks, so that whichever siding a train comes out of, or an engine, it will trigger the signal. Only does it on the way out, not on the way in. And I could, if I wanted to, put one here somewhere, but I think the problem with that is that every time a train came through there, whether it was going into the sidings or not, it would trigger the signal, so maybe not. So I've just set off my 121 bubble car on its middle track route. As she comes into this section, the signal here will go up. There we are. And as it goes out of this section, it will go down again. Now, why have I put this signal here? I'll show you. So as you can see, I've got the signal here. And what I thought is it would protect this set of points here. Yes, obviously I should have one the other side, but I have got the signal at the end of the platform, so hopefully that will do the same thing. Now these signals aren't linked into the actual point, they're just on the main track, so technically a train could go through those points still if they were against them, but because iTrains changes a route, it should be fine, and we'll see how it works in practice. But with these two signals using the same control box, I did have to actually extend the wires on this, so it can be done. So a good bit of this video is on couplings, and as you can see, I've got quite a good selection in my holding area, as well as one of the signals from the main layout. These are the Hornby ham ones, and I thought I might as well put that there because I've taken all the others off because they so dwarf the automatic ones that it looks a bit silly, I think. So as you can see, quite a selection here. So we'll go into this a bit later on. My trusty computer with my iTrains screen up, which is what I've used so far to control everything you've seen. And obviously sitting behind, flashing away a bit, is my DR5000 from DigiKeys, the control unit. Now the DR5000 has its own Wi-Fi, and I mentioned in, I think, the second of my videos on changing from Hornby Railmaster to iTrains about connecting the Z21 app, and I decided at that time that it wasn't really worth it because I had a lot of work to do on this, which yes I did. So if I swing round to the bench behind me, we'll have a look. So here's my tablet, 10-inch tablet with the Z21 on, which I hope you can see there. And as you can see, I've got my layout on one side and a control for a train on the other, and in this case it's the 03 Shunting. The whole layout on this tablet, so that's the whole layout. And you can change the signals, the points, whatever you want. So how would I control the trains if I have this up like this? Well, obviously my phone. So here we are with, in this particular case, class 20, which will come into this shunting later on. And just to show, if I push the horn, I hope you heard that, or the other one. So really magic. So I did have a little bit of problem connecting to this, but not a huge amount. And really the ones that trip you up, first of all you have to put, I don't know if you can see it, so you've got to put the password into the DR5000 like you would in any other connecting to an internet station, and it's simply 1 to 8, as you can see there. But the other thing you need to do is on the Z21 you have to change the IP address to what we've got here to what is in that, because that is set to actually connect up to the proper Z21. And the only other thing I had to do was you have to set the protocol right in the DR5000, and it says Z21, so it's fairly obvious which one you've got to set it to. So why have I decided to now get the Z21 app? I've got to say that it's absolutely fantastic. Obviously being computer centered with my iTrains, if I want to do anything away from this area, it's very difficult. And yes, you can use the mouse to sort of set things off, but you can't really control anything. And I found with this shunting, and if I move up to the layout slowly, I have now glued a couple of these and couplers, one there and one up there, and I have actually glued these. Now I did say I wasn't going to fix any to the main track, but I don't think it's going to be too much of a problem. And the reason I've done them out here is with my curved sidings, they don't seem to work very well in a curved track, and I've got hardly any straight on here. So I will show you later on why they're here. Bachmann class 20 with my banana train that I'm going to use for the shunting. Now you're saying to yourselves, how can I shunt a train this long with what I've got? And the simple answer is no, I can't. So if we go to the rear of the train, so you might notice quite a long way down from the engine, I have this guards van, the northeast. So why have we got a guards van in the middle of this train? Well, it's simple. These 4 wagons and the Shark guards van is going to be what I'm going to shunt, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to uncouple between the northeast guards van and the back of the train. The rest of this train will then trundle off to its next destination and to drop off some more banana wagons, and I can get these into the unloading bay. So I'll now send off this goods train to its starting position. And if you can hear my clock going off, it's now 10 o'clock, so it's time for my tea. So everybody, I've got my cup of tea in my mug, and we'll turn round and have a look at this goods train a bit more in detail. So this is where it's going to start its journey, and the theory that I've come up with is that this is a fairly long banana train that's come from the main depot where they all come into and is being transported by this class 20 to go to its various areas that they've got to be dropped up at. And as I said to you, the last 4 wagons with the guards van is our little bit for our depot. So this is all about couplings. So if you really pan down and have a look, hopefully you can see here that I have one of the Hunt couplings that I bought at the Great Electric Train Show. And these are just the basic original ones that they have to be put in the right way. And I think I've got a sort of medium one and a long one here. I did have trouble. I had the KDs in here originally, and it may be that I was using the 2 shorter ones, but it did derail a bit, and I thought, no, it would be better if I have these. So on this one, that's what we've got, and that's worked really well. So the rest of this train, you can see, are the small normal couplings, which seem to work quite well, as you can see, even though they go off centre a bit there. So I use them all the way down to here. So I use a KD here and a KD here, and this is where the train will split. So we'll put this over one of those uncouplings and we'll get it to split, and then this train will carry on to its next destination, wherever that might be. The train that will be going into the sidings. So here we have another one of those Hunt couplings, again the basic one, and this has worked fine and does put them closer together, as you can see a bit. So if we go to the next wagon, this is where the train will need to split to go into the unloading shed, and as you can see, I've got a couple of KDs here, and they're equally as close. And then moving on to the next one, these are conventional decouplings, the small ones, and as you can see, a lot wider apart. And then finally we have KDs between the wagon and the guards van, and you'll see why when I do the shunting session at the end of this video. And as you can see, over at the sidings bypassing the station, we have the Bachmann class 47 in the BR blue with a DBSO at the back, and obviously a buffet, Mark 1 buffet. And this train is completely comprised of Hunt couplings. This was my most troublesome rake. Lots of trouble having some Bachmann carriages and some Hornby carriages, and it was always causing problems. So we'll see this running later both forwards and backwards, and it's transformed it, I must admit, absolutely. So let's begin this shunting session. So as the Class 20 pulls its rake of banana wagons, coming in from where it's departed from to the local area, you'll see it under iTrains control go to the staging area, which in this particular case is two of the main lines, but there we are, only a small layout. As you can see, the signals come up for it to go, which is at the end of the platform there. And it will now change from the third track to the middle track. Now from the middle track to the inside track. Now we have to position this train reasonably right, and it's such a long train that I can't actually get it on the inner track without causing a problem for it to depart. So I've decided to send it up through onto the middle track again, and then up onto the outer one, almost. Anyway, have a look. Just do it. And here it will stop. So it now becomes controlled by the Z21 app, and this helps me to uncouple it and whatever. I could never really do this with iTrains, I don't think, not with my present understanding of how to control it. So we move the whole train back to that goods van that we saw, sort of, you know, 5-6 in from the back. And we need to decouple this, don't we? So there is a function on the Class 20 to do this automatically with a function number. But it doesn't work because it has to take up all the slack on the wagons. So I did this manually. And we're going to send this off its next destination, but I had to use the Z21 to get it onto a bit of track that it's recognised on, and then I stopped it and then gave it a route to go actually to the side, well, the main line where I control the trains from. So this is now under iTrains control. If you notice, you'll see the signal come up. Oh, you won't. Forget that, building's in the way. There we go, and we're going to go through the tunnel and to the back through track behind the back scene. And once it had stopped here, I then did an instant route into the big fiddle yard, which is where it was kept out of the way. So, right, we start the shunting. Now this 03, Batman 03, is under iTrains control to get it out from the unloading shed onto the main line so that we can couple up to our little train. And I sort of stopgap this a bit to sort of, it takes quite a long time for these shunters to get where they need to go, don't they? So I do this quite often just to try and shorten this video down a bit, because it would have been probably another quarter of an hour longer. So what do we need to do now? We need to couple up to this little train. So that means pushing up, and now we're on Z21 control again. So it stopped it where we wanted it. and using the Z21 I was able to, basically you need to push it off from the uncoupling. And as you can see, that's coupled up. And then pull forward. So I put this uncoupling ramp here because obviously I needed to be able to get the O3 out from the sidings and couple up. But we're now going to have this other uncoupling ramp, which I've placed as you saw, because we now need to do shunting into that, into the sidings. So I moved it forward. And we need to first of all remove the shark guards van off the back of the train. So again, this was manually done. There is a function for automatic, but it didn't seem to work. Maybe you have to set a CVs somewhere, I don't know. So there we are, we're uncoupled. Now what we want to do now is we want to push this into the siding, and I'm going to push it back a bit, and then I'll show you what the coupling's like. So I set all the points using iTrains manually, although I could have done it on the tablet as you saw, but I did it on iTrains because I had that up anyway. I'm just about to stop it there now, and we'll show you a little bit of what it's like. And what you can see is that they're not connected, are they? They're sort of inside each other. So as long as you keep it pushed up, which is what I did, I can now push the whole train back into those curved sidings where I couldn't get an uncoupling ramp. Yes, it's a bit more of an operation, but as you'll see, it does work. So I decided to put this into the engine shed, as there's no engines in there. And there we are, all sorted. So back out again. And as you can see, we're going over with the hump coupling. We don't need to uncouple that. And we're going to uncouple it here. Now why are we doing that? Because we can only get 2 of these wagons into the unloading shed at a time. So that's why I've got the combination of couplings that I have. And I put the normal D small coupling on the other set, which is what we're going to move in, just to see, you know, what was troublesome and what wasn't. So in a little while I'll tell you how I got on with doing all this. So again, we want to get the couplings not connected, and as you can see, I've done that. So we're now going to do a push into the unloading shed. Now yes, I had loads and loads of problems with this. I mean, this looks, you know, seamless, it's working. But I had the loco stopping from time to time. I had wagons derailing, especially where the D coupling was. I also had one of the KDs too short, I think, so I had to change that for a slightly longer one. But wonders of editing means I can bring you this. I could probably make another video as long as this video with all the bits that went wrong, but I don't want to add it onto here because this is long enough as it is. So we pull out, and basically I'm now going to put this into one of the other sidings, the whole train including the loco, because obviously they would have to wait for those banana wagons to be unloaded and to be put into a wagon, a lorry of some sort, or lorries. So I just reversed it into the fairly straight siding, the only real one, and I decided that you know, the driver's been working hard, and it was worth you know, a little break, a cup of tea, a cup of coffee. So I got him to turn off the loco, the diesel, and he went and found somewhere to have a drink. So remember, all this bit was done on the Z21 app. And now we're going to show the BR Blue train running forwards and backwards. So this is under iTrains control, this bit. And as I said, the Hunt couplings have transformed this train, as you'll see later. Now you might notice that the signal goes up in a minute. There it is, you keep watching, there it goes. So this has done one circuit under the control of iTrains. So one of the problems with iTrains on my layout is the trains don't get very fast, do they? Because they're always being held up or stopped or slowed down. So I then took over manual control, and I did a couple of fast runs. So I did a fast run forward at 90 miles an hour and then one backwards at 90 miles an hour. So let's see how this goes. Class 47 does take quite a while to build up speed. And as you can see, the DBSO wagon has the red lights at the back. And I had the cab light on there because I thought, you know, the guard might be doing something. And then backwards. And there we go. And if you notice, as it comes down, you'll see that when you see a front shot, you'll see that the DBSO has now got the headlights on. And I've turned the cab light off. It's all done under functions. There we are. And as you might have noticed, I've still got the disco carriage. I still haven't done that. Very lazy I am sometimes. But this really worked well, and this, you know, this is as it happened. I didn't have to reshoot or anything. I just did it, and it performed basically. Hope you've enjoyed this. We're coming to the end, and comments welcome. Please subscribe, and watch out for the next one, whenever that might be. Cheers everybody. Cheers.